Being smart makes you earn more money, and it gives you almost no advantage at keeping any of it. That is not an opinion. Researchers took a large, long-running study of thousands of people, measured their intelligence, and then measured their wealth. And what they found should genuinely unsettle anyone who has ever assumed that being clever would eventually sort their money out. Higher intelligence reliably raised income, but when they looked for a relationship between intelligence and actual wealth, between how smart you are and how much you have, they found essentially nothing. And among the very smartest people in the study, a real share of them were maxing out credit cards and missing payments, just like everyone else. Intelligence, it turns out, protects you from almost nothing. Let me give you the numbers, because they are more precise than you would expect. In that research, each additional point of measured intelligence raised a person's income by somewhere between $200 and $600 a year. So the effect on earning is real. Smart people do earn more. But when the same researchers ran the analysis on wealth, on what people had actually accumulated and kept, the relationship vanished. No statistically distinguishable link between intelligence and wealth. Read that again. They earned more and they had no more, which tells you something devastating. If you earn more and end up with the same, there is only one place the difference went. It got spent. The researcher who ran the study said as much, that high-intelligence people simply do not appear to be saving more than everyone else. They win the earning game and then hand the winnings straight back. And it gets worse, because you would at least expect intelligence to keep people out of financial trouble. It does not. Among the people in the top few percent of intelligence, those scoring above 125, about 6% had maxed out their credit cards, and around 11% admitted to sometimes missing payments. These are people who could run rings around most of us intellectually, sitting there with a maxed card and a missed payment. And the relationship is not even a clean line where more intelligence means less trouble. The data showed that higher intelligence sometimes actually increases the probability of financial difficulty. There is a beautifully simple observation that captures all of this. The researcher pointed out that if you want to see whether being smart makes you rich, go and look at a university parking lot. Professors are among the most intelligent people in society. Decades of education, brilliant minds, genuine expertise. Now look at what they are driving. Old cars, cheap cars, not a fleet of Rolls Royces. Some of the smartest people in the country, and their parking lot looks like everyone else's, or worse. Intelligence and wealth are simply not the same thing, and the parking lot has been telling us that for 100 years. So why? Why does the thing that solves everything else fail so completely here? Picture a chess grandmaster standing next to a treadmill. Chess is what intelligence was built for. Complexity, calculation, seeing 20 moves ahead, finding the brilliant hidden combination that nobody else can see. In chess, the grandmaster destroys you. But money is not chess. Money is a treadmill you have to stay on for 30 years. And on a treadmill, all that brilliance is worth exactly nothing. There is no clever move, there is no elegant combination that finishes it early. There is no hidden line that lets you skip the walking. There is only showing up and walking every day for decades. And here's the cruel joke at the center of this whole thing. The grandmaster is often worse at this than an ordinary person, because his mind, his magnificent, restless mind, keeps insisting there must be a smarter way to do this. So he steps off the treadmill to design one. He optimizes. He theorizes. He finds the clever shortcut, the sophisticated strategy, the thing the plotters are too dull to see. And meanwhile, the ordinary person, who never once believed they were clever enough to outsmart the machine, just keeps walking. 30 years later, the ordinary walker has covered the entire distance. And the genius is still standing beside the treadmill, holding a brilliant plan. There's something else worth naming here, because it explains a specific kind of private shame. A lot of intelligent people are quietly humiliated by their own finances. They are good at their job, respected, capable of understanding genuinely difficult things, and yet their money is a mess and they cannot tell anyone, because it feels like it should be beneath them. If I am this capable, why can I not do this one simple thing? And that shame keeps them from looking at it, which makes it worse, which deepens the shame. It becomes the one room in the house they will not enter. If that is you, I want you to understand what the research is actually saying. Your intelligence was never going to solve this, so its failure to solve it is not evidence of anything being wrong with you. You are not a fraud. You are not secretly stupid. You have been trying to fix a behavior problem with a thinking tool, which is a bit like trying to fix a broken leg by reading about anatomy. The tool is excellent. It is simply the wrong tool. And the moment you stop demanding that your intelligence solve it and start building the boring systems that actually do, the shame quietly evaporates because you finally stop failing at something you were never equipped to win. This is the trap, and it catches the smart specifically. It is not that intelligent people are foolish. It is that intelligence itself creates four very particular dangers when it meets money. The first is overconfidence. If you are used to being the smartest person in the room, you carry a quiet belief that you can figure anything out, including this. So you take a position you do not fully understand, because you are sure you will understand it faster than it can hurt you. You believe you can time it, read it, outthink it. And markets and money do not care how well you did on tests. The second is the seduction of complexity. A clever mind finds simple solutions insulting. Save consistently, keep costs low, do not touch it for 30 years. It feels like advice for people who cannot handle anything more sophisticated. So the intelligent person gravitates to the complicated thing, the exotic strategy, the active trading, the intricate structure, precisely because it flatters their ability. And the boring, simple thing they rejected quietly outperforms almost all of it for decades. The third is the most dangerous, and I want you to really sit with it. A high intelligence is an extraordinary machine for rationalizing whatever you already wanted to do. Someone with a modest mind who wants a thing they cannot afford might just feel guilty and put it back. But a brilliant mind can construct a genuinely persuasive, airtight case for why this purchase is actually an investment, why now is the right time, why the usual rules do not apply here for the following four reasons. The smarter you are, the better your arguments for your own bad decisions. Your intelligence does not stop the impulse. It provides the impulse with a lawyer. And the fourth is the belief that you are too smart to fall for the simple traps. Lifestyle creep, the raise that evaporates, buying to impress, the undefined enough. Every trap we have talked about in this series, the intelligent person reads about them, nods, understands them completely, and then walks straight into every single one, because understanding a trap and being immune to a trap are two entirely different things. Knowledge lives in one part of you. The behavior lives somewhere else, somewhere much older, and it was never listening to your analysis in the first place. So what actually works if intelligence does not? The answer is almost offensively simple, and that is exactly why smart people skip it. You stop relying on your judgment and start relying on a system, because your judgment, brilliant as it is available to be argued with. A system is not. The automatic transfer that happens the day you get paid does not care how persuasive your case for skipping it is this month. The investment you never look at does not care that you have developed a theory about the market. You are not trying to outthink your bad decisions. You are trying to remove the moment where the decision gets made at all, because that moment is where your intelligence turns against you and starts building its excellent case. This is the whole reason automation beats willpower, and why it beats intelligence too. The consistent person is not winning because they have more discipline than you in the moment. They are winning because they arrange their life so that the moment never arrives. They made one good decision once, years ago, and then let it run. The clever person makes a fresh, brilliant decision every single month and loses because 100 brilliant decisions made in the moment will lose to one boring decision that was made once and never revisited. Which brings us to the finding that reframes everything, and it is genuinely one of the most encouraging things in all of this research. When economists asked people how much of the difference in what people earn is explained by intelligence, most guessed somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2. The actual figure from the research is about 1 to 2%. 1 to 2%. 1 to 2%. And when they looked for the trait that actually does predict financial success, it was not intelligence at all. It was conscientiousness, being organized, reliable, disciplined, the person who does the boring thing they said they would do again and again, without needing it to be clever or exciting. So the whole model most of us carry is wrong. We treat money like a knowledge problem, We think, if I just understood more, if I learned the strategies, if I finally understood investing properly, then I would be fine. And so we read, and we optimize, and we still have nothing saved, and we cannot understand why. It is because money was never a knowledge problem. It is a behavior problem. And no amount of understanding has ever, on its own, changed a behavior. You already know you should save. Knowing has not saved you a single dollar. This is why you can understand compound interest perfectly and have nothing invested. Why you can explain exactly what someone else is doing wrong with their money while doing the same thing yourself. Why you can know precisely what you should do in detail with total clarity and still not do it. That gap between knowing and doing is where every financial life is actually decided. And intelligence lives entirely on the wrong side of it. So here's the reframe, and I think it is the most freeing idea in this entire series. If money were a game of intelligence, most people would be permanently disqualified. Some are born quicker than others, and there would be nothing you could do about it. But money is not a game of intelligence. It is a game of behavior repeated over time. Which means the thing that actually wins is available to absolutely everyone, right now, with no advantage of birth or education required. You do not need to be brilliant. You need to be consistent. And consistency is not something you are born with. It is something you build. The person who quietly ends up wealthy is almost never the cleverest person you know. It is the one who set up the boring automatic transfer and never touched it. Who bought the unglamorous thing and held it for 20 years without checking it every day. Who kept their spending flat when their income rose. Not because they figured out something you did not, but because they simply kept doing the dull thing while everyone smarter was busy inventing something better. So if you have ever felt that other people must understand something about money that you do not, that there is some knowledge you are missing, some cleverness you lack, let this be the thing that frees you. There is no secret. The people winning are not smarter than you. They are just still walking on the treadmill. And they have been walking a very long time. That belief, that you needed to be smart enough to be good with money, was learned. And it was never true. The pattern was learned, which means it can be rewired. Get on the treadmill, do the boring thing, and do it for longer than the clever people are willing to. That is the entire game, and it was never a test of intelligence. It was only ever a test of who kept walking. Next time, I want to show you why the most expensive financial decisions of your life are the ones you make in about 4 seconds.